Hi there, I am Pamela Petrick, also known as the Dietless Dieting Coach, and I am a registered nurse, a certified holistic health coach, and busy women come to me when they are ready to ditch the yo-yo dieting, the constant weight regain, and the fatigue, and they are ready for natural, holistic strategies for their unique bodies so they can release the weight, keep it off, and feel light and free. And when they work with me via my Beyond the Fork Academy, we customize their journey for their own unique body. And so I am on a mission for you to find those solutions that are natural and holistic that'll work for your unique body, which is exactly why I created the Beyond the Food Weight Loss Summit, specifically designed for women over 40 who are ready to break free from the constant weight regain and nothing's working for you. This summit is different because I'm bringing together experts who will share their top strategies to help you release weight naturally without extreme diets, restrictions, or extreme workouts, and help you to achieve lasting weight loss and transform your health for good. Plus, every expert is giving you a free gift, all specifically geared for women over 40. Do you have your pen ready? It's time for our next featured expert for the Beyond the Food Weight Loss Summit, Real Solutions for Women Over 40.
On Go to War on Weight, the revolutionary map that helped me conquer cravings, shed 25 kilos, and reset my energy. So welcome. I'm so excited to be here with you today. But the question is, why are you here? Why did you decide to give up your most precious commodity, your time, to show up today? Are any of these your reasons that you wanted to lose weight? You want to reclaim your health? You want more energy, you want to sleep better, you want to rock your wardrobe, and you just want to stop beating yourself up. Pop your reason in the chat, especially if any of those resonate, if not, one of your own. So today, you've decided to join Verb to get some vital info, because we've all heard it before. Just eat less, move more, and you'll lose weight. But if it were that simple, we wouldn't have an entire industry built around medical injections, diet plans, meal replacements, and willpower hacks. The truth is, weight loss isn't just about food. It's how you feel when you eat. If you're constantly stressed, overwhelmed, or being toxic with yourself, like beating yourself up with not liking yourself, and then that is not a state that allows us to let go of excess weight. When we're stressed, our body goes into fight, flight, or freeze mode. Now, this is an ancient survival mechanism to protect us from danger. And in today's world, our stress isn't coming from a wild animal wanting to eat us. It's actually from our work or family or expectations or our perfectionism and overwhelm. So you're probably wondering, who is this? I'm Karyn, and who the hell am I? I'm a 10 times award-winning book author of the book Eating Secrets, which is about emotional eating, overcome emotional eating. Featured in magazines, guest speaker on international summits and podcasts. I'm actually a CPA accountant in the corporate world for over 20 years, and then went on to be upskilled and trained in the past 17 years in many energy changing mindset tools like kinesiology, NLP, nutrition, timeline therapy, hypnosis trainer, creatrix, studied many forms of hypnosis to do with, regression, gut directed, gastric band, and specifically about cancer as well. But what I would really like to do is to start sharing some of my ghosts. And maybe you can relate, because I've been there and I get it. I was trying to put up an exterior of happiness on the outside, but really crying on the inside, suffering from suppressed grief, not letting anyone know how miserable I really was, thinking I was not good enough. and I was unhappy with my body and my weight. And it all started as a 10-year-old in the 70s with an easily excited, confident, and happy child. But at the age of 10, everything changed. The man I loved, my father, I was a daddy's girl, he died of cancer when I was 10. And I was totally devastated. Yet somehow life went on, just that little bit sadder, with a hole in my heart. And turning inwards emotionally and squashing down that sadness and using food to do that. I didn't want to feel the emotions, so to move on, I would squash them with food. And then, as you do, life moves on. And in 3 years, my mum met an amazing man. Now, Graham had so much energy and was always jumping around, and mum remarried, and I had him as my stepdad. And I adored him. And he moved into the house. But within 2 years, I awoke to what I thought was loud laughter. And in fact, it was my mum in tears, hysterical, because she'd woken up and Graham had died in his sleep. So as you can imagine, she's grieving the loss of 2 husbands. And so our family had endured so much loss, so much grief, and we're all devastated. But my grieving mum decided she couldn't stay in the house where she'd lived with 2 husbands and moved up to the country. And I was 15 by this time, and I didn't want to move to the country, from the city to the country. So I convinced mum that I'd be better off staying at home. So at the age of 15, I was put up in a unit, which mum set up, and lived alone. So I convinced everyone I was strong. And I think everyone believed it, even mum. I had a lot of freedom, as you can imagine, as a 15-year-old. I got myself a job at 16. I finished secretarial college. And then, but I was a party girl, drinking, smoking, partying. So on the outside, I looked like I was having fun. But inside, I was actually still feeling alone and sad and believing I must have done something wrong, stuffing down my emotions with food. I didn't know why back then, but I found myself pushing people away, afraid to really connect and let people in. Just putting on this front that I was tough and I didn't need anybody. I had friends, but I never really shared how I was feeling. I don't think I even allowed myself to feel those feelings. So I then let it slowly eat away at my confidence, becoming quite shy and afraid to be me, not wanting to stand out or appear needy. I just got on with it. I was proud that I was like this glass half full kind of gal, but inside I was feeling sorry for myself. I kind of wore it like a badge of honor that I was strong, but I was ignoring how I was really feeling. And the only thing that made me feel safe was food. Food became my savior. Food became my best friend. I liked that I was independent, but at the same time, I wished I had the easy life, which appeared my friends did, the ability to stay at home, be looked after, save money to buy things they wanted. So when you suppress something long enough, it will eventually bubble to the surface and come back and bite you. So it took me many years of soul searching and money spent on coaches and studying, realizing I had suppressed grief. And I have since learned that it was my inner little girl who was protecting herself from being hurt and believing that I was just not worthy, I was not good enough, I'm not lovable. So afraid of being judged and rejected. So by anyone, safer to be overweight, because then I didn't have to let anyone in. and afraid to meet, actually not really sure who me was, other than this party girl who just got on with it. But my little girl was saying, what about me? Who's looking after me? Who's loving me? And then to put the ice on the cake, I then lost mum suddenly 15 years later. And I was devastated all over again. Even though I hadn't lived with her for such a long time, that was kind of a good thing because you didn't have a mother nagging you. So she became like a best friend. Now, something we need to understand is that in the lead up to Dad's death, I witnessed him being active. And so even though he died of cancer, my 10-year-old saw him fall off a ladder, and my brain put that activity to death. So it linked activity with heartbreak. And then when my stepdad, Graham, died, being a very active man doing somersaults and all this sort of thing, and one day he just died in his sleep. He just didn't wake up. You can see my brain went activity, death, and then it just brought it home again when it happened again. Activity, death. So the link between if you're fit and healthy, you die, and that exercise meant death. And it doesn't make sense when you think about it now. It's just not logical. But because of that, my body held on to weight as it felt safer. The little girl inside who was still grieving did not know any better and decided the best way to keep myself safe was to sit on the couch and eat chocolate. Because chocolate was my friend, my go-to when I was feeling emotional. Now, I had a real aha moment when I went to a self-development retreat, and we were put into these groups and we had to exercise as a team. And we were told we had to support the weakest link. And by this time, I was like late 20s. I was pack a day smoking cigarettes, drinking, junk food sloth. And I was so afraid of not being able to keep up and just not being good enough. And they'll wish that I wasn't on their team as I'd bring them down. Because I was the weakest link. Have you ever felt like that? Like you want to fit in and you want to be liked and accepted. And I was afraid I'd be rejected and made to feel ashamed. I found out at the end of the retreat that my team members thought I was amazing as I really pushed myself, and I even faced my fear. On the second last day, the people were body surfing in waves in the oval, and I jumped in and did it. It was so freeing. But it was those aha moments, and there were many more that led to discover my passion in life, that I knew I wanted to help others the way I'd been helped. But that led me to go and train and in the many modalities, as well as co-wrote the book with another therapist on emotional eating, eating secrets. But life has its ups and downs and throws us a curveball. So even though I had discovered how to move through and all the tools I had in my disposal, imagine my shock in May 21. I found a lump in my throat. And after a biopsy, I was told it was cancer. Now, it was the same type of cancer that my father had that had spread to his lungs. For me, I was lucky. It was a skin cancer that had gone internal, got captured into a lymph node, and my body did the right thing and held on to that lymph node and didn't spread it. But they had to take out neck muscles and part of my collarbone, so the recovery has been slow and long. But that connection of cancer, death, caused a real inner struggle and fight with food again. So even though I knew what to do and what not to do, I just could not get myself back on track. You know, I used food to survive cancer. Chocolate became my go-to. I was struggling with the mindset, all the stuff, the hypnosis, everything I knew I had in my toolbox. I couldn't, like, it could help me be strong through the cancer, but I couldn't get back on track, and I gained so much weight because food became my way to deal with the emotions. And I always found myself back staring in the fridge or in the cupboard, looking for some way to feel better. So I want to be really honest with you. This was my reality for a long time. So even as someone who had every tool, every technique, you name it, I tried it. I knew how to help others, but I just couldn't seem to help myself. And maybe you felt that too. You know, we're all smart. We've done the courses, we've read the books, we've followed the diets, maybe even worked with people. But behind closed doors, we still are that lost little girl staring into the fridge, hoping it'll give you something that you can't name, give you some feeling, and feeling stuck, ashamed, exhausted, and wondering, why can't I just get this together? So when you look at this slide, this list, that was me. And if any of this feels familiar to you, I want you to know you're not broken, you're not lazy, and it's not about willpower. Your body and mind have just been doing the best they can do to protect you, keeping you safe. And protection isn't the same as healing. And healing combined with other powerful tools is what I finally found by reconnecting to myself and my body. And I'll go through some more, show you the map of how I actually did that. But first, the wins. So remember that list I just shared, the pain, the frustration, the endless trying. This is what came next. I didn't wake up one day magically fixed. I didn't suddenly find more willpower. What I found was the right support, the right structure, and the right tools to get out of survival mode. So 25 kilos gone, knee pain gone, cravings gone, inches off my neck, which helps hold my head up straight now, inches off my waist, stomach, and hips, and all without operations, drinking shakes, no injecting of chemicals, or spending hours in the gym. And I finally got to shop in my own wardrobe and finally had the energy for life again, not just getting through the day. And the best part is I actually love the food. I wasn't punishing myself. I was nourishing myself. I was nourishing my body. So what made the difference? It was two simple but powerful things that I had to add. And that's accountability and these magical craving stopping patches that supported my nervous system while I did the deeper work. Stop the craving, stop the head chatter. And that combination with the mindset work and with the healthy calorie deficit, that eating helped me get out of the cycle, the actions I took. And I'm staying out. So just a little bit more about the patches and why I love them. They're basically all plant-based. There's no drugs, there's no stimulants, there's no chemicals or hormones. If your body does not need the nutrient, it will either not absorb it or it will spit it out. So the patches are absorbed through your skin. It won't store in the body as drugs or chemicals will. The plant-based ingredients are just like eating vegetables. They won't harm you or your health. And as you lose weight with the patches, the cortisol, which is the stress hormone produced by the adrenal glands, balances out to a natural state, and stress and associated brain function just becomes calm. The insulin naturally balances out and the thyroid detoxes, and it's stimulated to work more efficiently. Now, my thyroid had radiation done to it. It was saved through the operation, but it would have got radiated. So when you can naturally, I worked with a naturopath through my cancer and through radiation to make sure I was getting all the support I needed as well as the medical. But damage is still done. So the patches helped with cravings for alcohol, sugar, and fat. They were dramatically diminished. And these substances overstimulate pleasure centers in the brain, are so addictive. And if you've ever given those up, you do notice that the cravings do stop. But until you've given them up, the patches helped with that food chatter and those cravings. And noticeably, within days of putting the patch on. And I didn't want to put chemicals in my body with the, everyone's talking about Ozempic and all the injections. They're great for type 2 diabetes, but the side effects, the nausea, the vomiting, the diarrhea, the stomach pain, and what you're hearing as well, that people are gaining the weight back as soon as they stop taking the injections. Not to mention they may not be able to get their hands on it because they don't have much in stock. And then you've got the severe reactions where people are allergic, racing heart, fever, swollen lymph nodes. And, people have had kidney damage or severe stomach problems. So what I liked about the patches is that they were natural. And so they include things like wild African mango and saffron and ginger and wasabi and fenugreek seeds and green tea extract and turmeric and moringa and chamomile. And that's just like to help with weight loss. And you've got lymphatic system things, and then collagen for regrowth, and horsetail and wild garlic, and nitrate of silver and tart cherry juice for stress and insomnia. And the list goes on. I loved that they were so natural and that they would give me the support that I needed. And what I learned is willpower is not the problem. Your body doesn't feel safe enough to let go of weight. Most people think they fail at weight loss because they lack willpower. The truth, stress, overwhelm, and beating yourself up keeps the body in fight, fight, or freeze mode. And until we address the body, the mind, the soul, and the heart, the body will hold on to fat for survival. Now, when we're stressed, upset, we crave comfort foods. Usually the processed, sugary, salty, or high-fat foods that provide only temporary relief. Chocolate was mine. It was temporary because you'd be going back for more. Feel welcome to drop in the chat. What is your go-to? So remember, stress brings on the fight, flight, or freeze mode, with your body not perceiving the threat to be life or death. It doesn't know the difference. So it releases stress hormones like cortisol, which is signaling the body to store fat, especially around the belly, because it thinks you need the energy to survive. Your body thinks it's doing the right thing and keeping you safe. And what do most people do when they want to lose weight? They try to push through with willpower. They think if they restrict more, exercise harder, or stay strong, they'll get results. But willpower can be limited when emotions aren't being addressed. The emotions will stop us and will self-sabotage, and the cycle repeats, because then it will lead to frustration, self-blame, and feeling like a failure. And then we'll sabotage again. But there is good news. There is a better way. Instead of trying to battle your body, what if you started working with it? Yes, what you eat and how you move is important and part of the picture. A calorie deficit is required. You need heart set and mindset work, which helps you shift from forcing weight loss to allowing it to happen naturally by reducing stress and dealing with the beliefs, the generational trauma, the past, and the cravings. Remember my beliefs about exercise meant death. Also, the belief that my family are all overweight, so I'm going to be overweight. And then there's a generational trauma. My father had Dutch background, and in the 17th century, they used to weigh women, and if they were taking herbs and they lost weight, they must be witches, and they're going to be burnt at the stake. How's that for safer to hold on to weight? So you'll see soon that I've got a four-pronged approach which is needed, which is the body, mind, soul, and heart. And that is what has helped me to move forward. Now, I've mentioned a calorie deficit a couple of times. So I just want to give you a bit of an idea how to calculate that. You can calculate what you weigh now and then decrease it by calories. But if you know what you want to weigh, what your goal weight is, so if you've got it in kilos, convert it to pounds and then times it by 12. And that's the calories you can eat to actually have a calorie deficit, because it's lower than where you are now, but it's where you want to be. So it'd be what the calories that you would have to maintain that lower weight. If you're 5'3" or below, you need to times it by 10 instead of 12. Now, it depends on how fast you want to go. If you just have that calorie deficit, it will be a slower pace of weight loss. But if you want to go faster, you can reduce it by 500,000 calories. Now, you could look at that and go, oh, I can't eat that much less. It's bad for you. But what I found with the patches is it gave me the nutrients I needed. It gave me the fats that I needed. And it gave me the ability not feel the hunger and not feel deprived. So you probably already know from experience that just cutting calories does not solve the issues. It's good to know what amount of food you should eat, but I'm sure you have experienced self-sabotage and the food head chatter that it overtakes your intentions of sticking to an eating plan. And just cutting calories does not reset your metabolism either. So my map to shed kilos, it's time to go to war. This is a revolutionary map that will conquer cravings, shed kilos, and reset energy. It's time to declare war on the crap you've been putting up with. Declare war on the shitty mindset. Declare war on the bad decisions and crappy food. Declare war on being unhealthy. It's going to war. So the first step is understanding your why. So wake up and find your why for wanting to release weight so that you're willing to follow through with the required actions. And that why, make it compelling. Like see what you want to see, hear what you'll hear, feel what you feel. See yourself in the clothes that you want to wear. What is it? That why has to be so compelling that if you are on the path and you get frustrated or something happens, you can take yourself back to that why so you can go strong and keep on with your actions. And in this step, you're working on the body, you're taking action. We're looking at the exercise, your water intake, your nutrition, and using the patches as that tool to fight cravings and hunger, and supporting the body's natural process for weight loss. This first step layers the foundation for lasting weight loss. But without mindset shifts, physical changes won't stick. So you'll find yourself having to keep repeating. So that's when step 2 comes in, which is the awareness, the deeper cause for craving certain foods. To soothe yourself leads to awareness, then acknowledgement. This is where you're working on the mind, why we self-sabotage, and the beliefs like mine of exercise meant death and all the emotional triggers. The awareness and acknowledge of those allows you to find solutions and release. And in this step, also, A stands for accountability. Our accountability is so important. Was for me to, it's amazing how you can not be accountable to yourself, but you'll let yourself down, but you'll be more accountable to others. And then step 3 is that reset. Reset your body, reset your emotions, reset your metabolism and your beliefs, and reset generational wounds. This is where true freedom and lasting change. This is where deep healing happens, ensuring weight loss is permanent. Redefining who you are at your soul, releasing your heart from emotional pains, which is aligning your heart and soul with your body and mind. It's time to go to war. Now, Kali, this powerful goddess, seen as the force that brings about radical change and transformation, but seen as a compassionate and protective mother figure. And Shiva, the god of destruction, they both destroy things in our lives that no longer serve us, but not just for destruction's sake, but because they see the destruction as a necessary process for creation and renewal, allowing for new beginnings and overcome negative forces. It's time to go to war. Now, I've got some questions. You can take a photo of this, of this slide, so that you can actually go back and relook at these questions. But grab pen and paper and then just work out your why. Take this time to calculate your why and then answer these questions. What patterns am I finally ready to see without excuses? What emotions or situations trigger my self-sabotage or emotional eating? And then own your truth with compassion. What pain or unmet need might be driving this pattern? And what have I been avoiding feeling? And what would be the worst that could happen if I felt this for just 90 seconds? Now, quite often we avoid those feelings and then we go for food. But if we can actually work out that it's not that bad if we feel them, and then reclaim what's part of me I'm ready to reclaim: my voice, my power, my peace. And what would the empowered version of me do in these moments, in those tough moments? And as you go through these questions, I want you to also notice the stories and the excuses that come up, especially the big ones like, I don't have time, I can't afford to eat healthy or invest in myself, and I just don't have the energy. Ask yourself gently, are these true, or are they proactive and protective beliefs that are built to avoid discomfort, for fear of change? What if these aren't excuses, but signs that we've been operating in survival mode for too long? What could shift if I chose to believe I'm worthy of time, support, nourishment, and energy right now as I am? Because here's the truth: the very things you think are holding you back are the exact things that will start to change when you begin the work. Now, I've got another exercise for you. This is something that you can use in the moment when there's a worry going on, a stress, and you would normally turn to food. So think of a situation where that would happen and give it a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being quite low, 10 being quite high, huge, huge problem. When you've got that, I just want to bring you to bring your hand up to your face and put that worry, that stress, that emotion that's going on for you, and push it into your hand. See your hand as that problem. See your hand as that stress. And take it all out of your body and put it into that hand. And as it leaves your body, I just want you to grab 2 fingers, put it to your palm, and just, as you're thinking about that problem, just push it away. Just keeping this, push that fingers away, push that hand away, so it's stretched out so far away from you, so that that problem just disappears. It's getting smaller and smaller until your arm's fully extended, and then just shake it off, let the issue drop off as you let your hand fall and tilt down. And then just think about that problem. What number is it now? You'll probably notice it's gone much lower. Now, this is also a pattern interrupt to stop you from going to food, because you've actually dealt with the stress, the problem, the worry. And I talked about the 4 pillars of lasting change, and these align with the 3 steps. So one is the body, the nutrition, the water, the patches, the physical imbalances, the nutrition, and the body keeps the score. We store emotions in our tissues. And then we've got the mind, understanding and breaking the patterns, why we self-sabotage, how past experiences and beliefs shape our eating habits, shifting from willpower to self-awareness. And then you've got the soul, the healing at the root cause, getting to the deeper emotions, those emotions that cause the stress eating, and the generational healing. And ask yourself next time, what am I really hungry for? What are you really hungry for? And when you ask that question, you'll quite often find it's not the chocolate, it's the love, or it's not the bread, it's the emotions. It's that feeling that particular cake might have brought you, the love from home. Align with what truly nourishes you beyond food. And finally, the heart connection and support, strengthening self-love and self-trust, community, accountability, and relationships. We don't have to do it alone. Humans are not meant to be an island. We need that connection, and connection makes healing easier, and accountability in relationships. So now we've come to my free gift to you. I hope you've enjoyed the talk so far, but what I'd like to offer you for staying till the end here is, if you struggle with eating when you're not hungry, or waiting too long to eat, then binging, or overeating until you feel stuffed, a hunger and fullness scale that you can download will help you recognize true hunger versus emotional cravings. So to stop eating at the right time and feel satisfied, in control, and energized. So there's a website link there, plus also a scan code. So take a photograph of that and scan it later. But I really want to thank you for joining me. I hope you've had some aha moments for yourself. What I've also got is the All Access Pass, which is valued at $97, to How to Control Secret Eating and Binging online course, which includes a PDF copy of the book, some hypnosis recordings that you can listen to, videos for you to get tips and strategies to help you through. So All Access Pass gets that for free. So thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you're leaving with new perspectives and a few powerful insights to carry into your future. And remember, it's time to truly love yourself and heal, so you can finally achieve the body and health you want and deserve. Thank you.